There are now 40 tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass. And while a lot of these tracks are very good, some of them really stand out compared to the rest. So in this video, I'm going to be showcasing my top 10 favorite DLC tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. With that said, without further ado, let's start giving her, bud. Starting off the show at number 10, we have Shroom Ridge from Mario Kart DS. Looking back, Wave 1 was extremely lackluster, but Shroom Ridge has really stood the test of time, and for good reason. It's a really fun track to drive, and no matter what point you're at in the race, you'll always have a chance to win. I also think the distribution of the vehicles is really good here. They're not obnoxious like on Toad's Turnpike, and they're not lacking either. There is a perfect amount of vehicles to keep you on your toes. You can also pull off 2 shortcuts on this track, and while they are pretty basic to pull off, I think they really help with the flow of the race. Put it all together and you have a pretty awesome track. I can't find much to complain about when it comes to Shroom Ridge personally, and that's why it lands a spot at number 10. Moving on to number 9, we got Vancouver Velocity from Mario Kart Tour. And believe me when I say this is not the only Wave 5 track on my list. I normally don't expect much with the city tracks, but this one is really cool. And also, as a proud Canadian, you already know I had to put this one on my list. Vancouver Velocity is a straight banger from start to finish. Of course, with the city tracks, you're going to be taking a different route every single lap. And in my opinion, this track does the best job at executing this gimmick. Every lap just feels like an adventure, and it's really hard for me to find something I don't like about the track. Well, apart from the Shy Guys at least. They can be kind of annoying, but otherwise, this track rocks. All 3 laps are straight bangers, and that's how it should be. Coming in at number 8 is Maple Treeway from Mario Kart Wii. I got a soft spot for a lot of Mario Kart Wii tracks, and needless to say, this track delivers. Now trust me, I like my fair share of shortcuts, but sometimes a lack of shortcuts makes a track better, and I think this track is a very good example of that. It's a track where you'll be rewarded for being in the front, but because of the item set right before the cannon, you'll still have opportunities to catch up. I also really like how this track has a mix of wide and tight sections, such as the Wiggler section and the bridge before the boost ramp. This creates for a lot of engaging races, and overall, a good time. But you better hope the player in front of you doesn't have a bomb on the bridge section. That could be pretty tough for you. But putting it all together, this track was awesome in Mario Kart Wii, and it's awesome in this game too. Number 7 is Daisy Cruiser from Mario Kart Double Dash. This track really surprised me. I wasn't that excited when this track got announced because I generally prefer other Double Dash tracks, but after a few days of playing this track, oh my god, this track is sick. This track is super fast paced and really fits the mechanics of this game. And like I said on Maple Treeway, sometimes a lack of shortcuts makes the track better. This track has 0 shortcuts and it really rewards fast driving. Items will always be a factor when it comes to winning Mario Kart races, but this is one of those tracks where if you're really good at it, you're gonna win your fair share of races here. Just make sure you don't run into the Goombas in this section. It could be a long race for you if you hit them in the wrong way. Number 6 is Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. This track is a try-hard Mario Karter's paradise. I mean, Section 1 alone is pretty insane driving-wise. Drifting off boost ramps, mini turbo tricking, super bouncing, you got it all here. And altogether, this is one of the best Rainbow Roads in Mario Kart history purely by the design of it. And it works really well in this game. Also, this track has no broken shortcuts. So you better hope you don't get hit early and you know what you're doing, or you're gonna be in a really rough spot if you're playing against really good players on this track. And that's what's awesome about 3DS Rainbow Road. It is really rewarding if you're really good at it. And that's why it's on my top 10, baby. Absolute beauty track. Now we're getting into the tracks that are just incredible. Number 5 is Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii. I don't care what anyone says, this track was made for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. First things first, this track is super bounce central. It's a really cool technique in this game, and you save a lot of time pulling it off. And you better make sure you have a mushroom or two, because you know what exists here? The gap jump. This is one of, if not the best situational shortcut in Mario Kart history. In a lap 3 situation, this shortcut could make or break your race. So again, you better hope you have a mushroom or two. I just think this track is really fun, and that's what Mario Kart's all about. Mushroom Gorge is awesome. And coming in at number 4, we got Koopa Cape from Mario Kart Wii. I think most of us knew this track was coming at some point, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't that thrilled about it. But after playing it a couple times, dude, this track is awesome. As per usual with my top 10, this track is really fun to drive. There's a lot going on every section of the track, which makes for really fast-paced races. I also think it's really cool that you can perform the ending waterfall shortcut shroomless. Some may think it's cheap because the waterfall isn't as powerful as on Mario Kart Wii, but when your driving is on point, the execution is really satisfying. And that's what this track is really all about. If you can execute every section to perfection, it is awesome. And that's why Koopa Cape was a no-brainer for my top 10, let alone number 4 on my list. Starting off the podium, number 3 is Athens Dash from Mario Kart Tour. I still can't believe I just said that. A Mario Kart Tour track cracking my top 3? That's like unbelievable. But this is the last tour track that feels like a tour track. There is something technical and something to look forward to at every stage of the race. Now, I will say, for a tour track, this is the antithesis of a beginner-friendly track. I mean, the amount of blind spots are kind of nuts. But after you play the track a couple times, it's no big deal. I mean, honestly, I don't know what else to say. This track has everything I could ever want in a Mario Kart track. It's fun to drive, it's fun online. I am always happy when this track gets picked. But my top 2 tracks are very distinct from the rest. The runner-up on my list is Waluigi Stadium from Mario Kart Double Dash. I mean, this is a super technical track by design, but my god, this track is so fun to drive. There's loads of ramps to trick off of. You can perform the mud shortcut shroomless, and don't even get me started on the half-pipe section. The half-pipe boosts make this track really, really fun, especially when you can get up to like 5 half-pipe boosts here. It's pretty sick. There's just always something going on here, and it's a really strong running track as well, which is great. But even if you fall to the back, if you play your cards right, you can absolutely catch up. But Waluigi Stadium transcends just a fun track to drive. It is a technical driver's paradise from start to finish. And as someone who likes driving fast myself, I love this track. But it is not quite number 1. My favorite DLC track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is DK Summit from Mario Kart Wii. This track is a little controversial, but in my eyes, this track is just perfect. The half pipes are amazing. Do I need to say it again? The half pipes are amazing. The bump section is also pretty cool. And while the double shortcut is way easier in this game, when you get it perfectly, it feels oh so satisfying. This is the most fun track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And Mario Kart is all about having fun. So for me, it's a no-brainer why DK Summit is my favorite track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And yes, I'm not talking just DLC. I'm talking in all of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. DK Summit is on a different level. And if you don't like this track, that's a skill issue on your part.